Hello everyone. Today Impact News brings you an exclusive interview with a very unique personality. He's a Gauriya Vaishnava scholar and a spiritual leader. Born in Guam and brought up in California, USA. Follow me in unraveling the mystical journey of the spiritual leader whose quest for spiritual awakening brought the West and the East together. His Holiness Hanumatpresaka Swami was born as Huber Hutchin Robinson on January 12, 1948. He is a Gauriya Vaishnava scholar and a spiritual leader for International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. He is also the founder and general secretary of NEO's North American Institute for Oriental and Classical Studies. He is also a visiting professor with ISKCON, that is the Institute for Oriental and Occidental Classical Studies, Ricardo Palma University, Lima, Peru. He is also a member of the faculty at Bhakti Vedanta College, and he is teaching on the subject Bhakti Raswamrita Sindhu. Thank you, Swamiji, for taking the time to be with us here today. Okay. It's an honor to meet you.
It's an honor to be here in Manipur.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Swami, as I was preparing for this interview, I came across that you have graduated with first place in psychology in 1970 with minor studies in biology and electrical engineering. But somewhere during your doctoral studies at the Northwestern University, you got convinced that the Western wisdom was lacking, which could be augmented by the Eastern philosophy or Eastern mystics. So I would like to know, what have you found in the Eastern mystic or Eastern philosophy which you didn't find in the Western knowledge?
Oof, it's a big question.
And there was the first question that struck my mind when I was going through the background.
Because now I've been involved in this for, well, actually, you know, the Bhagavad Gita, our perspective is that we're doing this for many lifetimes. We get a certain body, we're born in a certain country because we have a certain kind of interest. If you like good machines, you take birth in Germany, right? If you like romance, you take birth in France. Yeah. And it said that you only take birth in India if you were interested in philosophy in your last lifetime. You can see everybody in Manipur, there's inclination towards art, beauty, culture, music, like that. So the West is, because it's a long history, but it's very, very much developed technology, you know, this physical atmosphere. United States is dominated by Northern German consciousness. In North Germany, it'll be on a normal day in the winter 30 degrees below zero. On a cold day, 50 degrees below zero. And so everything has to be very hard, metal, precise, you know. And other places like India, Manipur, there's more time to take lessons from nature, to go becoming more introspective. So the basic thing I found in many people was that, especially the Vietnam War, we had a lot of contact at that time, was that Indian culture, Asian culture, Chinese culture, was from the very beginning much more introspective. You know, looking at things behind the surface, you know, why we act about certain things, and how we can actually get real satisfaction, not just satisfying our tongue, but actually deep satisfaction. You know?
Inner satisfaction.
Yeah, so that's what I found. Many people found that Oriental culture was more profound, more introspective. Yeah.
Now, since you are a visiting professor at Peru, in a college in Peru, I'm going to ask this. I've read a novel where it mentioned about Mayan civilization, how the Mayan civilization was very developed and, you know, have its rich philosophy. So, isn't that Western? No.
Yeah. See, that's actually when people say Western culture. Basically, they're talking about United States and Canada, for the most part, coming out of Europe, out of Germany, and especially, the Western philosophy developed, mostly they'll take it back to the Greeks. Socrates, there's one big professor from the University of Harvard University, Northcote Parkinson, very powerful person, very intelligent. He said the safest way to characterize all of Western philosophy is to say that it is a footnote to Socrates. From Socrates came Plato, from Plato came Aristotle, that came in as St. Thomas Aquinas in Europe, and all these ideas and perspectives had developed out of that one link. And of course it went to the United States. The United States has been spread all over the world and even pushed back into Europe like that now and so on. You know? So, but as soon as you go to Mexico, then you get these Mayan civilizations, which are not from Peru, and many other civilizations that go down through South America, which are much more, I'm thinking in Spanish now, parecido,
Parecido.
a Spanish word, much more sympathetic or harmonious with traditional cultures throughout India and Asia like that, and so on. So really, the differences between Northern Europe and the United States, in South America, the cultures are much more like Indian cultures. Yeah.
So, Swamiji, what you're basically saying is the Western philosophy or the Western lifestyle is more mechanical, whereas the Eastern philosophy has given you depth into your inner consciousness. So now I would like to know, how do we realize that we have even achieved inner awakening? Or how do we go about achieving inner awakening or inner consciousness? What should we do? Or how do we realize? Do we need to focus on something, do meditation, or does it come naturally when we keep in touch with the environment? How do we even know that we have achieved inner consciousness?
Yeah. Socrates.
Back to Socrates.
He's the authority. He said, I cannot teach you anything. All I can do is help you remember. So one idea is that we're starting from nothing and expanding and growing. And this is very predominant in the idea of science and materialistic science. Not all scientists are materialists, but it's very predominant of mechanistic idea, you know, coming from matter like that. And it's only been for the last maybe 200 years that this is very much dominated in Northern Europe and United States. You know? Yeah. Socrates, for example, the very last dialogue is called the Phaedo.
Phaedo.
It's you should read it. It's very interesting. He's been condemned to death. The poison is right there, you know. But he doesn't have to take the poison. All he has to do is promise to go away and never come back. And that's what his enemies were hoping for. They never thought he would take the poison. You know, they thought they would just drive him out of town with a threat. But he said, "Oh no, if I'm guilty, then I should die for my thing." You know. So there's a big dialogue between him and his disciples about whether the soul is immortal, what happens when you die, where the soul comes from. And he says, there is a very ancient doctrine that says that all living souls come from dead souls, and all dead souls come from living souls.
So they are one.
They're reincarnating. You know. He asks, have you ever seen perfect beauty? And the person says, no. Have you ever seen perfect truth? No. And he says, but you know what I'm talking about? Therefore, you must have lived someplace else where you experienced these things. So Socrates' whole idea is of simply reawakening our original consciousness.
Archetypes.
Yeah, yeah.
Archetypes.
Our archetype, and Carl Jung developed this as archetypal consciousness. Yeah. So, if you're looking at Socrates' ideas, right? Because another idea about education, you see this in the modern world. One idea is sit still while I instill. You know? No, this is your empty box, and I'm going to fill you up. No, the other one is we're simply trying to wake up to our original consciousness. In Chaitanya Charitamrita from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Shuddhe Chitte Karuje Udaya. The same thing, it's just a matter of, by hearing about Krishna, talking about these things, we wake up. You know? It's just the fundamental principle. So you don't need any kind of certificate or certification that you're awake. Because as soon as you're awake, you know, I was awake, that was a dream. That was a dream. Yeah. So it's self-evident. Yeah.
Self-evident.
Okay? Yeah. Just like when you wake up. Or somebody doesn't have to give you a certificate, you've had enough to eat. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This knowledge is intrinsic. Yeah. It's not something coming from some outside source. It's simply we already are spiritual, right? Yeah. We just have to wake up.
So this realization comes from within. But
Yeah.
is there any manifested behavior which others can observe?
Yeah.
Like
We become detached from all the agitations of the external world. Something I become too concerned. Mahatma Gandhi, we're quoting everybody here, Socrates, everybody would like the movie, Mahatma Gandhi, Socrates. Mahatma Gandhi said, there's enough in the world for everybody's needs, but not enough for one man's greed. So when you start becoming greedy, it's just like, what's the word, what's the name of it? It is Nero, famous Roman emperor, Nero. He had more and more opulences and rooms and palaces, and still he wasn't satisfied.
because of his greed.
Yeah. So when we start focusing externally, and then we start becoming greedy, and when the greed is frustrated because it's unnatural, then we start becoming angry and violent, individually and also communally. Our nation will conquer all your resources and so on. And so externally we see people start living simple living and high thinking. It's a very good motto. And people are satisfied with enough clothes, nice, not terrible, nice, and that and stuff. But what does it mean? What's the internal satisfaction like that? And so that's externally. The basic principle is reduction of unnecessary desires, and then becoming very harmonious. When you put a flower garland on your body, you don't have to put another flower garland on your shadow. So if your spiritual life is improving, then automatically, your external life is also improving. Yeah. I travel all over the world and I have no money, right? So my life is, yeah.
And then Swamiji, you have spoken about bringing science and religion together, synthesis of science and religion on many seminars and on many other occasions.
Yeah.
So what is this synthesis?
Well, it's not just myself, actually. There's always been, good people, good ideas, and then greedy people, and nothing.
Science and religion, isn't it two different realms, how they
come
together?
Again, even in India is looking towards the West. In South America, in many places, they talk about how India and South America got political independence, but they still haven't gotten cultural independence.
South America.
Yeah, also here too. Yeah, in India, so many places you're looking to the West for technology, for perspective,
Western education.
Everything. The best psychology in the world, but you're studying Western psychology.
Yes. Yes, but
Yeah.
we don't know what is our own philosophy.
Because
psychology.
the British did this whole hypnosis of convincing people. So this whole, you know, in Latin America and here, both places, people are talking about how we have to not give up these things we got from Europe, but you know, take advantage of our own culture, like that. So many people all over the world, there's a whole movement towards, you know, waking up and integrating these cultures. I think in Manipur especially, people know this, that they have so much heritage from their pre-Vaishnava culture. It's so beautiful. I've read the whole Kambatoibi story. I know. And there's a Kamu. In the end, she kills her husband, right? Kambatoibi, she throws a knife and kills him, and then she kills herself. You know, very beautiful, you know. So there are many. We have to take all these things, you know, from different cultures, and then, you know, make a nice world, you know. So if you look at the year, what was the question again?
How do we bring science and religion together?
Okay. So we're talking again about in the West. In the West, there was no separation, you know, in the beginning. Socrates, when he's going to look at something, he wants to see the religious aspect, everything else like that. In the time of, before Newton, the more you knew about, even Sir Isaac Newton, he was the greatest scientist who ever lived.
Yes.
Okay. Until 18 years old, he simply wrote about theology, studied theology.
That was before he became a scientist.
Well, and from 18 to 21 years old, he was a scientist.
Okay.
After that, he went back to theology. He wrote over 100,000 words on theology, which has never been developed and published. It's curious. But between the ages of 18 and 21, he discovered the laws of gravity, the laws of mechanics, the laws of optics. He invented calculus and other things like that. Any one of these would get you a Nobel Prize, you know, like that. So he's definitely the greatest scientist who ever lived. In 3 years, he did all these things. So people asked him, why did you leave theology? And he said, I never left theology. He said, there are 2 books for understanding God. The Bible, you know, and nature, where God is writing with his own hand. So that was his view towards nature, you know, that we can see, and he was convinced there has to be somebody behind all this. And he has to be a just and a very beautiful person. And he also has to have a sense of humor. Okay. So after that time, especially in the time of Descartes, Descartes?
René Descartes.
Yeah. It wasn't just him, but it's called the Cartesian split. Because at that time there was a very strong split between the rational, empirical life of science and the mysticism and scriptural authority of Christianity. And the church went one way and the university went the other way. So only since that time has there been this effort. It was an idea. If we separate the two, there won't be fighting, won't be conflict between the rational life and the mystical life, you know, and then we can be more productive. But Harvey Cox from the Harvard School of Divinity said this is like a husband and wife. They'll fight, they'll argue. Okay, let's separate. Then there'll be no fighting, but there'll also be no children. Also, too, if the husband and wife separate, no children. So science and religion naturally have a very nice perspective.
It cannot be separated.
Yeah, but the thing is how to work together, and that's the art. It's the art, trying to learn how to do that. Yeah. So, it's in the West. It's been a philosophical attempt to try and create peace, give a certain domain, but now realizing more and more, and this is why India, because India, traditional Indian culture, there never has been this separation. The more you learn about nature, from the Srimad Bhagavatam to Sankhya, Yoga, Ayurveda, you know, Gandharva, Vastu Veda, the better person you become. And the better person you become through this system, the more you know about nature. So it's integrated. So Nobel laureates like Charles Towns, others, they're very happy working with us, the Bhaktivedanta Institute, other organizations, because they say your culture hasn't lost this integration, and we need to learn it again, because we're in a very dangerous position now, the way we've developed science in the West. Yeah.
So Swamiji, what you're basically saying is Indians' holy scriptures or manuscript, it's fully ingrained with scientific principles.
Yeah. But it's integrated with religious, spiritual life. You can't. They're not separated. You know. Whereas in the West, we've been successful in making some kind of artificial separation, and so now people with no ethical or moral training have incredible power. This is not good. Yeah. Yeah.
So the focus is more on the holistic approach, integrating together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then now, since we are discussing about the Holy Scriptures, Swamiji, I have a question. This might offend you, but please pardon me. The Varnas of the Varnas or the caste system in Hinduism.
Yeah.
Do you think it is still relevant in today's society where we are striving for equal development?
Okay. Well, the way. Okay. Well, what is it? Well, I mean, I know, but some people say this, some people say that. You know, if we're actually looking at the original authoritative definition in the Vedas, everything else, Bhagavad Gita, of course, is excellent source. So Krishna says, Chatur Varnyam, Chatur, these four, Chatur Varnyam, Maya Shristam, Guna, Karma, Vibhagashaha. These castes are created by me, right? According to people's qualities and style of working. That's what it is. What
skills, depending on the skills.
Yeah, their skills, their style of working, and also their qualities. Somebody's peaceful, somebody is aggressive, somebody's very, profit calculating, like that. So our position in Carl Jung, everything else, is that these are a part of nature. Many ladies, or have your baby, and okay, you're going on, and at some point, suddenly this kind of consciousness just descends upon you, and I'm a mother. It's a whole thing that comes. Or suddenly the man the same way, and he identifies with this boy, and I'm a daddy. Or else the same way, you're training in the military, and at some point, I'm a warrior. This and that. So this is the point. It's a thesis. This is a part of nature. It's natural. Every place we go, we'll find this. For example, what we're doing right now is more like a Brahminical activity, talking about things, inquiring, this kind of stuff. And then our technician here, our cameraman, he has to be very, very expert at his skill like that. So on. But it's never almost never purely like artisan. What's the word? Businessman, warrior, or intellectual. It's almost always a mixture like that. And all Krishna is saying is that this is how things work, and if you see it's that work, adopt it. So naturally, some people go to universities. Some people take up technical skills. They're both essential. There's no small parts in the drama, just small actors. So
small actors.
Anybody can. That's not. And to artificially create some, that's wrong. That's not what the Varnashram system is. And we're opposed to that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And Swamiji, this is your first visit in Manipur?
Oh, no.
No, we have.
I've been coming since 1984.
1984.
How old are you?
Around that time.
Yeah. No, I've been coming many years. None of this was here, just the building across the street. You first came when what's his name? Joy Chandra Singh? Yeah, he was editor of Prajatantra. It was a very old newspaper. Yeah. Anyway, a long time ago, and I've seen a lot of changes in Manipur. Yeah.
And then, Swamiji, what is the contribution of Manipur and Maharaj Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami in the ISKCON movement?
Okay. We don't know. No. When
unfathomable.
Yeah. It's like you have a little child and you don't know. Ideas what the inclinations are, like that, But still, the potential is unlimited. I mean, Manipur. There are no small actors in the drama. There's small players. So if Manipur will play its part properly, it can be the most important place in the world. No, because it has such rich cultural heritage. It has a good place, like its nice atmosphere. You don't have to.
Nice.
Many ways, you know, but so it's dealing with it properly. I would say that one of the biggest problems in the world now is industrialization, commercialization, right? Turning everybody into consumers, making machines. And Manipur is confronting that, right? And how will it deal with it? This is so. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, he's my sannyas guru. And I took sannyas from him in 1984, actually. And we had Ranganiketan, which was this Manipuri cultural troupe that we took it all over the world. Disney Performing Arts Center, Kennedy Performing Arts Center, some of the biggest places in the world. And so popular. People appreciated, loved it very much, you know. So Manipur has the potential of being a place where many different historical aspects are going on. We're working a lot in Peru. Peru is right near the United States. You can, you know, have a good influence on the United States. But at the same time, in many ways, the two cultures are so similar.
Culture in Peru and Manipur.
Yeah. If you look at South America, Peru is on the west coast. And if you go, again, I do slideshows where you can't tell the difference between the two cultures like that. It's a very oriental culture in many ways like that. The tribal culture in the mountains is still there. Some of the people in the mountains.
I've seen one of the movie. It's a bit relevant. What is the name of the movie? Apocalyptus.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's all about Mayan civilization. And
well, the Mayan civilization
tribal
is
warriors.
Yeah, this is from Mexico.
Mexico.
Peru is from Inca. It's a big culture, you know, and so it's the same situation. They have a pre-colonial period, and that culture is still there in the mountains. People living the same way, planting their food and harvesting it, and they what to speak of English? They don't even speak the colonial language, which is Spanish, and they have their traditions and everything else. And there's a lot to learn from them about how to live with nature and how to live with people and everything else. You know, our civilization is destroying itself. Yeah. But these cultures still exist. So Manipur has the same thing. They have cultures which go back and very pantheistic. Yeah, and then it comes into a colonial period. You know, in both cultures, and you see there was advantages there. You know? And then Marxist period. But actually, Peru also was a very violent Marxist period, you know. And then also, I think in India with Naxalites and things like this. So it's very. What I'm trying to do is we're trying to create an interchange, you know, between Peru and Manipur, because these two cultures can help each other by looking at things together, and then they can do something good for the whole world, you know. And now they could, traditional tribal culture. Colonial culture, Marxist culture, and then finally this industrialization and consumerism with department stores. And both cultures are facing this, and how to take the good things but not take the bad things, because there are many bad things in this culture, you can see.
Struggling to keep the environment, the nature intact.
That's a big part of it, which goes back like that, you know. But at the same time too, yeah, there's you know, with television and things like this, yeah, we can do wonderful things. So India has, and of course we're already so much involved in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you know, his whole cultural tradition coming down through A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Rupa Goswami, which gives tremendous, you know, process, you know, for entering into this culture, for the introspection. And once you have the perspective, then you can see how things fit together, you know? Even the demons, the devils, okay. Las Vegas, we make Las Vegas.
Yeah, talking about Las Vegas,
okay.
Swamiji, again, this question might offend you, but I want to clarify this. How do you define Brahmachari?
Brahmachari. We're very
like total celibacy.
Yeah, we're very classical. I mean, the basic classical principles are there; they haven't changed. But basically, Brahmachari life means student life.
Student life. Yeah,
from basically the idea is you're supposed to live to be 100 years old. Okay, 25 years as a student, 25 years as an active married person. Then Vanapras, which is calming down and beginning to be spiritual. Then sannyas is, you know, totally renounced, just this trying to leave the body altogether, like that.
So most of the disciples at ISKCON, the brahmacharis, they are not allowed to get married?
Oh, no, they can get married.
They cannot?
Yeah, they can. Yeah. No, brahmacharya usually is just that, and it's for girls too. Girls also, need training, right? The little girls have to learn so much.
They learn for a certain period, and if they decided to get married, they can.
Yeah. Or else they can go directly into lifelong vows of becoming a monk. It's all over the world. It's natural. Catholic Church is same thing like that.
Swamiji, all this. How do I put forward? Krishna, Lord Krishna.
Yes.
And all the devotional songs, the basic tenet of following Krishna. Everything, it's so romantic.
Yes.
So everything is so romantic, so seductive.
But also heroic, also.
Yes. So how a brahmachari, chari's mind won't get corrupted listening to all this romantic and devotional song.
Yeah. Again, it's not all romantic.
I haven't heard it myself.
No, because also, for example,
like say that it's very detailed.
Krishna, one of Krishna's most famous activities is the Bhagavad Gita, which is a battlefield, and he's preaching to Arjuna about how to deal with war and these problems. One of my students was in the Iraq War. He had he was in charge of a sergeant in charge of a company. So he said about 140 soldiers under him, 18 years older, and it was a real war. He says he doesn't know how many people he killed, and he said 5 times he was almost killed himself. It was a real war. And he said when he went out, his first mission as a sergeant, as a soldier, was, I have 140 boys with me who have mothers. When I come back tonight, I can tell those mothers all their sons are alive. That was his. So very heroic, Yeah. And the second thing was to create peace. I started sending cookies to them. So they would throw cookies at the Muslim insurgents. They would throw cookies at them. He said many times it worked. They would stop fighting. Third thing was to do what his captain said. So Krishna's activities involve all aspects of life.
Not only the romantic aspect.
No, Mother Yashoda, and Krishna. He's the perfect little baby. He just, if you were a mother, you would just be going crazy with affection and attachment for him. Naughty, stealing things, But it's so beautiful. So, but yes, because ultimately we see in this world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Krishna is the enjoyer, we're his servants. I'm the enjoyer, God is my servant. Yeah. And so in this world we see, the conjugal attraction is the most powerful. People will sacrifice their reputation, their wealth, their life. They'll kill each other in these relationships. When a woman is upset because of the relationship, or a man the same way, Okay. Yeah, because it's the ultimate beautiful thing too. And we can appreciate that. What is the most famous of Shakespeare's plays? Well, Hamlet, but also Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, because it's such a beautiful story.
I was about to say 7 stages of man's life.
That's in As You Like It.
As You Like It.
Yeah, but Shakespeare, that's why he's so popular. He's also following Varnashram. So in the beginning of brahmachari life, we're just understanding how to become detached from gross activities, anger, greed, lust. And then gradually we begin to understand, spiritual perspective. So depending on your previous life, maybe right away you can understand. It's a kambatoibi. It's not a gross thing. It's a very beautiful thing. It's the same way Radha and Krishna. It's very beautiful, And a Catholic nun, right? Lady in the mind, her life is dedicated. She wears her wedding ring. You know that?
With God.
Yeah, because she's married to God. Same thing is there. It's in the Song of Solomon in the Bible. Identical idea about, in the ultimate issue, this love is the same intensity of a lover and a beloved. The Song of Solomon starts with the phrase, kiss me with the kiss of your lips. You know, but he says, first there's a kiss of the feet, like that. And when you got that one perfected, you can take the kiss of the hand. Right? So then, okay, we'll start talking about these higher relationships and so on. So ours is the same point. And just to understand it exists, that there really is beautiful male and female relationships, then we don't want gross distorted relationships, prostitution, all these things, and they're unnecessary. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pure love that we have to strive for.
Yeah, yeah.
And Swamiji, and last but not least,
okay.
It's a bit related to this lust and all this. Today's youth and today's generation, we are addicted to so many things. It can be technology, mobile, or intoxicants, or even sexual addiction.
Yes,
so many addictions.
Yes, yes.
So as a student, as a youth, how do we focus ourselves? How do we strive? How do we give up all these bad habits or addictions so that we can do what we are supposed to do, so that we can be a fully functioning whole person?
Yeah. The Bhagavad Gita, I'm sure in the Bible you'll find the same thing, in the Quran, every place. Param dristvam nivartante. When you get a higher taste, you give up the lower taste. Right?
So how do we get this higher taste?
For example, a girl has her dolly, right? Mm-hmm. When she gets a real baby, forget
about the dolly.
Yeah. Or when a guy gets a motorcycle, he doesn't like his bicycle so much anymore. So same way, we have to, look for good association, nice people, nice communities. Not even just physically present, but historically. As somebody told Mother Teresa, right? Oh, today's youth is simply sensuous, interested in superficial things. And she said, no, today's youth is like youth has always been, idealistic, looking for the high things. They haven't been contaminated by jobs and all this kind of thing. He said, you just don't know how to challenge them.
How to guide them, and channelize them.
Challenge them. So that's the main thing, is that, if don't become discouraged. Don't sell yourself for something cheap, right? There are very, very high, wonderful things that can be accomplished like that, and start associating with people. All of the great movements come from historical personalities. Buddhism is trying to show us who Buddha was. Islam is trying to show us the Prophet Muhammad, these things, which are great personalities. So all these traditions, look for them in your family, your community, and then fix some high goal in your life. In 40 years from now, or later on, when my kids are grown up, I'm going to show them what I made of myself. Or I'm going to show my parents what I did of myself, like that. So fix some high goals. You can change them, you can purify them. But without those, it's just who has the newest motor scooter, who has the best cell phone. Yeah.
Without goals, it's all
high goals. And one of the most basic goals is immortality. Yeah. Christians say the same thing. Where will you spend eternity? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Swami.
Thank you so much, and all of our audience too. Okay. Okay.
And I hope you have a wonderful stay here.
Except for the allergies, it's okay. Yeah. Been a very good program. Yeah. So thank you very much.
And that was a conversation with the spiritual guru, the holy man, whose thirst for spiritual awakening and his mystical journey finally landed him in the unfathomable mystics of the East. Until next time, this is Joyshree Usham with camera person Bishorjit Namirakpam, Impact News, Imphal.